Hello my friends, how are you? It's great to see you for yet another video, and I told you I'd be back today to talk about Donald Trump's failed trade wars, my friends. You guys remember that? It seems like the distant past when Donald Trump was starting trade wars with every other country, because so much has happened since then that we just kind of lost track of it. And for anybody that wasn't paying attention, the trade wars never ended. It's just Donald Trump pulled back on his 145 and 125% tariffs because he saw that we were all getting our asses kicked out here because of the dumb things he was doing. Now, is that enough to make Donald Trump change his mind? Probably not. He doesn't really care too much about the peasants, my friends. But when, billionaires started reaching out and going, Donald, you're fucking up the supply chain, it probably caused him to back off a little bit. Actually, now that I think about it, it was probably the stock market, as that thing was fucking crashing every time he would try to pretend to be a tough guy. He's such a cute little guy, isn't he? Sometimes you just want to pinch Donnie's chubby little cheeks and tell him, you're such a big, strong man, Donnie. You don't want to tell him that because he'll believe it, and then he'll start trying to be a tough guy again. But, sometimes you just want to, I don't know, not intimidate him, that's not what I meant, but like embarrass him a little bit, just chubby little cheeks, Donnie, I don't know. So he backed off the trade wars and left Americans with just a 30% tariff, my friends, because who doesn't want to pay 30% more for everything they buy because the president's a fucking idiot, right? We all want to do that. As a matter of fact, I was just going to make the joke, that's the patriotic thing to do, but if you remember, my friends, the last 4 years of Biden's presidency, we had a bunch of snowflakes in red hats that were bitching about how Biden screwed up the whole economy, which wasn't true. It was Donald Trump's first failed term that screwed up the entire economy. But then they blamed Joe Biden because that is the Republican way, my friends. No responsibility whatsoever. We don't blame ourselves for the stupid shit we do. We blame the Democrats and blame Canada for some reason. I don't fucking know, my friends. They were so pissed off about how they said Joe Biden had caused inflation, and they just wanted their prices to be lower. And then when Donald Trump came in, lied his ass off through his entire campaign and said, I'm going to lower prices on day one, and then he starts trade wars. Well, prices go through the fucking roof, the supply chain starts collapsing on us, and there were actually people out there that were saying it was the patriotic thing to do if you pay more under Donald Trump's regime. If you pay more for the stupid shit that Donald Trump's doing, it's patriotic. But these dumb fucks don't know what patriotic means because their loyalty is to one man instead of a country. They sold out the country with their votes, my friends. That's what the fuck they did. So they don't even know what patriotism means. I don't want to be lectured on patriotism by a guy that doesn't know the definition of patriotism. Who's with me? Who's with me on that? Anyways, so Donald Trump came in, raised hell, was causing the supply chain to crash, more importantly was causing the stock market to crash, and decided to pull back on his tariffs. Y'all remember? Just a little history lesson, I guess, because since then we have hidden the Epstein files, we have bombed another country, and what else have we been involved with since then? The world's richest man threatened to start a political party to break up MAGA and get them out because he doesn't like the big beautiful bill, but also he's the one that got Donald Trump elected. You could understand why we might forget all the shit that's going on, right? So Donald Trump, being the whiny little bitch that he is, decides to roll the tariffs back to just 30%. And he gave them, I believe it was a 90-day, maybe it was a 30-day, 90-day. I can't keep up with this shit. Do you know why I can't keep up with this shit, my friends? I was watching a broadcast earlier on the news, and they said since Donald Trump has started his trade wars, he has changed his mind 27 times, my friends, since he started them. And look, I'm a couple hours behind on the news. It's possible he's changed his mind another 27 times since that happened. This is how Donald Trump got the nickname Taco. Trump always chickens out because every time the stock market would start crashing, he would roll back the tariffs and say, oh, just kidding, I'm too much of a bitch for this. I can't keep up with this shit. And then he gave them that extension, right? The extension was, we're still going to pay 30% tariffs. And then at the end of that period, which was 30 days or 90 days, I don't remember exactly what, then Donald Trump was going to drop the hammer of justice on everyone and make other countries pay tariffs. Hey, dipshits, if you're listening, other countries still don't pay tariffs. That's never how it fucking worked. But Donald Trump did what Donald Trump does, my friends. In classic Donald Trump fashion, Trump always chickens out. Yesterday, I haven't even looked at the stock market today, but yesterday the stock market was absolutely collapsing because the deadline for these tariffs was coming into place, right? Was coming up. I think the deadline's actually tomorrow for when these tariffs. It's not anymore. Don't worry. We'll get there, my friends. We'll get there. Just hang with me, okay? Anyways, tomorrow was the original deadline for when Donald Trump's absolutely absurd tariffs were supposed to come back into place if no deals have been made with countries. And the good news for us, my friends, as Americans, is we've got the world's greatest deal maker in the White House right now. I mean, this guy's a businessman. He can negotiate anything. Just fucking kidding. He bankrupted 6 casinos, and people think he's a good businessman. Thinks he's a deal maker. And these cocky, arrogant sons of bitches come into office, and they start just slapping fucking tariffs on everybody, right? We're gonna show these other countries who is boss, and Americans ended up paying the price, by the way. Thanks, Dick. Anyways, start doing all this bullshit, and fuck, I forgot what I was saying. So they start doing all this bullshit. Let me try to remember. Fuck, I don't remember, my friends. Anyways, the point is, this deadline was supposed to happen tomorrow, I think it is, where Donald Trump was going to hit these countries with not hit these countries. See, now he's in my brain. I'm saying it the wrong way too. What we need to know about tariffs is we are the ones that pay it. The American consumer pays the fucking tariff. That's it. End of story. There's no argument. There's no debate to this. That is actually how it works. And here's what I was going to say. Now I remember. See, my friends, eventually I'll get us all there. I promise you I will. Remember, the world's greatest negotiator and his band of fucking dipshits were going to do 90 deals in 90 days, where they were going to get all these fucking deals, these fair trade deals for Americans in place, and they were going to do all of them within 90 days. Well, that 90 days now has come and went, my friends. Come and went tomorrow. And in that 90 days, they were going to get 90 deals where they have gotten 0 deals, my friends. The world's greatest negotiator has gotten absolutely 0 fucking deals. What he has is potentially a couple frameworks for a plan for how a trade deal would work if they were to go through with it. Remember when he was on the campaign trail and he said he has concepts of a plan? That applies to absolutely everything. Just kidding. It doesn't, because what he said, he had concepts of a plan. They were referring to healthcare. Well, now he just kicked 17 million Americans, I believe it's 17 million, off of their fucking healthcare. So that's not a very good plan, now is it? But anyways, the 90 deals in 90 days, my friends. None of this happened. The world's greatest negotiator did fuck all but play golf and start wars with other countries, and did not come to any deals whatsoever. And it got so bad, my friends, that I forget who it was. It might have been Scott Bessent. That guy's a real douchebag. We know we're back to talking about trade wars when old Scotty shows up, right? That fucking guy. Anyways, he said that these countries just aren't reaching out to America. They're not returning our calls. They're not reaching out. And how are we supposed to make deals with them if they don't return our calls? Could you imagine? Could you imagine, my friends, how far America has fallen? That used to be sort of, you know, I don't want to go too far with this, but America is kind of a big deal, let's say, on the world stage. I was going to go further, like we were kind of the center of the fucking universe, but that's some shit an American would say, right? But we were, like, when it comes to trade, when it comes to consumption, nobody consumes like Americans do, my friends. And we are one hell of a place to do business with, because you can sell us fucking anything. We're gullible. We love shoving food in our mouth. We think that there's products that will like help us lose weight without like working out. Well, there is some now, like Ozempic or some shit, but you get the fucking point. We're dumb as bricks is what we are. And you can sell us fucking anything. And the rest of the world is signaling to the Donald Trump regime that they are so fed up with his bullshit that they're not even reaching out on a phone call to have these deals with the United States. They don't give a fuck. You know, you've got good countries like Canada and Mexico and Australia, and there's a lot. There's so many countries out there that have basically like started looking around, started shopping around a little bit and saying, do we really actually need America? Do we need the constant threat of America hanging over our heads, that every time Donald Trump wakes up with like shit in his diaper, that we're just gonna have a bad fucking day, we're gonna have all new trade wars? And I think a lot of the world just went, fuck it, we're not going to do that. So the point is, Donald Trump, if anybody didn't know this, he gave them another month extension. So now it's like the 9th or 10th of next month before the tariffs, the small tariffs of 30% have expired. And that's when Donald Trump is once again gonna drop the hammer. No, he's not. He's gonna bitch out like he's been doing the entire fucking time. Donald Trump has turned America into a fucking laughingstock. With all this nonsense about starting trade wars and all this shit, nobody gives a fuck anymore about what we have to say. Nobody gives a fuck to even pick up the phone right now and have a phone call with America to make some sort of trade deal, because all these trade deals were already in place. Everybody was making money. People were able to afford their goods for the most part. I mean, I know we've had some rough years in America, and we were all getting along just fine for the fucking most part. There may be an outlier here or there you could point to and say, well, what about that? I don't know. Fucking sometimes shit happens. That's what about that. But once again, in a month, with this extension, we will be right back in the same fucking boat we are now, with an absolutely clueless president that has not made any trade deals with anyone. And I guarantee you, if they're out there right now saying they made trade deals, they're full of shit. And they've already proven that with the trade deal they made with the UK that it wasn't anything. It's non-existent, is the fucking point. So what I'm saying, what I'm so annoyed with is the trade wars still rage on, right? Donald Trump keeps losing the trade wars over and fucking over again. Like, it's pitiful at this point. He is just getting the shit kicked out of him every time he tries to act like a tough guy. And he's not getting the fucking message. That's the part that's really frustrating about it. He thinks that he can do it again. And next month, look, they had 90 days. That 90 days has now come and went. So they've given a 30-day extension to work out a bunch of deals that haven't even been fucking started yet. And the point of all that is Donald Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, in case anybody wasn't sure what I meant by all of this. But America doesn't win because of these policies. We are definitely, how do I want to say this? We were definitely looking at a supply chain crash when Donald Trump was doing the 125, 145% tariffs, to the point that we were talking about store shelves being empty by end of June. Now, I understand that that's come and went now, and a lot of MAGA dorks will say, oh, look, you predicted by end of June, and look at the store shelves, they're full. Yeah, that's because your boy backed the fuck out, got his ass handed to him by the fucking world, backed out of his tariffs for the most part, down to just 30%, and that's the only reason we don't have empty store shelves right now. But I don't know what it's going to take, my friends, here in America, for Americans to finally fucking realize, the ones that think Donald Trump's a great negotiator and a great deal maker, in just the 6 months that he's been in his office this time, he has fell flat on his fucking face over and fucking over. It's just silly at this point. That's what the fuck it is. It's just silly at this point. So that's it. That's all. We are still involved in absolutely pointless trade wars that have not brought in manufacturing back to America, has not strengthened relationships with other countries, and certainly has not put America first, and has not made the lives easier of American people. And my friends, that is all brought to you by Donald J. Trump himself, the biggest fucking failure that has ever been in the office of the presidency. You know what I meant to say. Anyways, I gotta get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.